everybody, it's K-May Cosplay or Crafty K, please, whatever you want to call me. Just don't say anything negative in the comments, please. Speaking of which, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, share the video with your friends, and help out my channel. I want to get to 300 by the end of the year, which I think is kind of reasonable. And I am 201 subscriber away from that. And I want to get to 1,000 probably by the end of next year. So let's make that goal achievable. But welcome to the Colossalcon review. As I'm doing this review, I am going to be working on inventory for my little hair bows. I love these little things. They're just simply just some tool, a button, bobby pin in the back. Seriously. And that's what I like about them, because they're so cute. And I like making things. Making things is fun. That's why I finally decided to start my art career. So, let me tell you about the hotel. I'm going to start breaking these convention reviews down by hotel, convention, panels, photo shoots, guests, and feedback for the convention itself and the hotel. So I'm not going to have like 50 rants going in at one time. So let's talk about the hotel. The Days Inn. It was a book now, pay later hotel. I booked it on a third-party site, which the third-party site said pets are allowed. I called the hotel probably about end of March into April, saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I have a hotel reservation for these dates. And it says on the third-party site that I booked that you guys allow pets. We have a cat, and I was wondering if we could bring her." "Sorry, no, we don't allow pets at the hotel." "Oh, well, does third-party site know this?" No, they don't know this. And I'm like, "Have they called to ask?" Like, "No." I go, "Okay, well, we'll find something else to do." Well, we had this on the plan for Majesty, but it kind of fell apart. So we had to drive back and forth 3 times to go feed her. And after we fed her, we seriously drove in the morning on Thursday, fed her, got back to the hotel for the continental breakfast. Which the continental breakfast was lame. Okay, Days Inn, your continental breakfast was lame. It was the same stuff. The apples tasted like they were on the ground, or they sort of tasted like dirty and earthy, or they didn't spray them off from the pesticides, which is, I did not get an apple after that. The oatmeals were only 2 flavors, apple cinnamon and cinnamon brown sugar, which is okay. The juice was watered down. The orange juice, the grape juice, the apple juice, it was so watery, like you could not even taste the juice. Or you guys were using a light version, and that's not okay. You had no biscuits and gravy, even though it was saying, "Oh, check back tomorrow for biscuits and gravy." And there was one morning where I needed the biscuits and gravy. But I'll get to that here in a minute. The pancake machine worked 2 of the 4 days. Like, we were so sick of the breakfast on Sunday, we actually ended up going to McDonald's because we felt like they did better. Because they had the hash browns, they have the McGriddles, the McMuffins, everything like that. That was actually better. I'm sorry. They still have the buy one, get one for $1 for the breakfast. And let me tell you, like, when I called to check about the pet thing, I also said, "Hi, I also would like to get a ground floor for the hotel." "Okay, yeah, sure, we'll put you in for a ground floor." Because we had this wagon. I bought this $50 wagon for us to use at the con. And we go to check in, and after we paid, because we had to pay with cash, which we were not told that we had to do a $50 deposit, we ended up on the second floor at the end of the hallway. At the end of the hallway, where we came in and out of, the door was not shut all the way. like, you know how you gotta put your little key in, and then you have to open the door to the side if you're like a smoker or something. Yeah, that didn't shut all the way, so that was unsafe. And we told the front desk, and they didn't do anything about it. And it was over by a train track, so when the train came rolling by at like 3 o'clock in the morning, it was shaking the entire hotel. Like, it was not pleasant at all. Sorry for the shake, but I was just kind of demonstrating. And we also were pretty upset knowing that our hotel room was kind of at the end of the hallway. True, we parked like right in front of the window to where our hotel was because we didn't want to trust it on the side. We did not trust it on the side at all. The Days Inn only gets 2 stars in my book because of the way that the representative at check-in was presenting herself. She had her jacket undone, halfway off of her shoulder, when I think that looks extremely unprofessional. But of course, that's my business owner side talking. And if you want to make a good impression, you have to be accommodating to how you look. And she was on her cell phone most of the time. The pool was really cold, was not well lit, and the hotel towels for the pool were always wet. So we went into the pool only one time, even though it really helped soothe my roommate's foot. But let's just say the Days Inn will not be getting my business. I will be seriously staying at the Red Roof Inn because they are more accommodating. They have a better continental breakfast. They're better for the price, and they're also pet friendly. So if we have to bring Majesty, we can. All we have to do is let the front desk know, hey, we're going to the con. We'll be back in about 4 hours to come check up on her, and that'll be it. So, Days Inn, change your policies, update your pages, have the third-party sites, or you call the third-party sites and say, hi, we're not pet friendly, even though your website says that we are. Now let's talk about the convention. The convention was amazing. It was probably one of the best colossals I've attended in the last 10 years. And the reason why I say that is because the staff was, as normal, extremely nice except for this one staff member. But I'll get to that when I talk about the days. We get in, and they had 2 lines to get the badges, which made things go really smoothly. They had one over by the fountain where you come down from the arcade or hotel, and then you had the one over by Conops, which is normally where you go. And all you have to do is present your QR code, boom, you get your badge. You're a panelist, you're a dealer, go to Conops, get your special badge. So that was really, really nice. So I hope that they keep the whole 2-way, the 2 check-in points, maybe add a 3rd one to make it go by a lot smoother. And if you have like a check-in point by Conops, where people come in from like 6 to whenever, you have that at Station 8. Station B will be over by the main events hall /artist alley /dealers hall. That'll be another good one because that's where registration gets moved to day 1. So I do like the fact that there were 2 registration check-in points. Will they add a 3rd one as the con grows? I hope so. Of course, I'm just an attendee. I don't help with Colossalcon in any way, shape, and or form. As an attendee, I feel like my feedback could really help them out. And the 3rd check-in was over by the gorilla statue that we all appropriately named Harambe. May he rest in peace. but it's just a Colossalcon. And it's basically coming up from the arcade and downstairs to the hotel. So having check-in point over by the hotel / arcade is good. Having one over by where you normally go by Conops, better. Plus, potentially putting the one where registration eventually gets moved to at day 1 would make things a lot easier. Because dealers don't get in until Friday. Well, mainly Friday. But I know that they're probably there the first 2 days of the con to just enjoy it, see the artists, and all that stuff. Because some of their friends might be artists and they don't have the money for a vendor's table. Which is fine. And by doing this, it would just help make registration go a lot smoother because, let's face it, Colossalcon has 4 cons, all partnered through Kalahari, and they're growing more and more every year. So we're definitely going to need that third check-in probably within the next 2 or 3 years. I do my little Nezuko photo shoot, and then I go on my merry way. We get back to the hotel, we come home, Your Majesty, do the breakfast, go to the con. And we start off with Animal Crossing. A little unbeknownst to me, and this was stupid on my part, and for the other Animal Crossing cosplayers who were there at the bridge at the actual appointed time, I apologize. My computer was set in Pacific time zone, so it was 3 hours behind. I wanted the Animal Crossing push to initially be at 3. And it was put at noon because of this time zone thing. And again, I apologize, and for those of you who came when I was hosting, thank you. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I really hope that I can come back hosting more photo shoots that the fandom enjoys. But I am not sure with how Animal Crossing went in general as cosplays, so I'm going to try one more time next year, and if it flops, I'm going to move on to another fandom to host. I'm sorry, but that's just the way that's going to be. Second was, we were walking around and we saw this really short line. It was probably like a dozen people. They were in line for the craft fair. I'm thinking, this is too good. Like, I want to go get, I had a small box lid full of my crafting stuff. It had my banner, which is just a piece of poster board with my name on it, and where to follow me on socials. It had a few of my knitted headbands, a few of my rubber band bracelets, some of my canvases, and 2 hair bows. I'm like, let's go get stuff. So we load up the wagon, take it to the craft fair. We were overflow artists, and we were not informed, okay? So that's strike 1 on Colossalcon, is that we were not communicated to saying, hey, yeah, our craft fair is full. If you guys want to stay and be overflow artists, that's fine. They had tables set up in front of the vendors. Some people started setting up at those tables. And those were for performers that were not in yet. And due to the lack of communication is why I was actually really disappointed on Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. Because I had my hopes up. Like, I bought a small box myself specifically to sell because of some of the rules Colossalcon put in place. And honestly, I wish that some of these rules would have been taken down. Because on Wednesday, they had a video game card swap. Like, video games and trading cards. And some people were selling arts and crafts at that swap meet. And I was not okay with that. Because we had things to do. We had to get home to the cat. And we don't really attend that. What we normally do is that we usually go get our badges on Wednesday. And then we walk around the con to try and get a feel for it again. And see where our panel rooms are. And that sort of stuff. Do some pictures before it gets too crowded of certain characters. Like I was with Nezuko. Because my roommate's very nervous about me wearing Nezuko to a con because of some shorts that she's been watching with Zensetsu. that was Thursday. Friday rolls around, and we go to the con, and we have, well, no. Wednesday was the horror photo shoot after Animal Crossing, and we changed it into Chucky and Tiffany, and it was surprisingly really well. I'm really happy with the turnout that my roommate had, and it was phenomenal seeing all those horror themed cosplayers. And like we were promoting it, and some people were saying, "Oh, I thought you were like." One of her friends, one of the people's friends said, "I thought you said well, I'm not gonna repeat the derogatory word." She's like, "I thought you said this word, not horror, like the movie genre." But thanks to American language, I bet you guys could figure out what word I'm referring to. And they actually attended, so that was really fun. Especially with some of the cosplays that were floating around the con. So now let's get to Friday. Friday was the day of, I'm trying to remember. Friday, what did we do Friday? Well, we obviously walked around the con. We had the Sailor Moon photo shoot. There we go. Sailor Moon photo shoot was fun. It was small, but we did it. Like, it was okay. And we went to the dealer's hall and artist alley, and honestly, we felt like it was kind of repetitive. And there were mainly vendors that were renting 4, 5, 6 tables for the con. I get that you guys have a huge inventory, but you guys go to all these conventions. I'm pretty sure there's investments you guys can make. Because we miss some of the other vendors that normally attend, where everybody gets a chance to shine with their uniqueness. It was seriously plushie and figure overload. And that was just, honestly, too much. Like, one seller had plushies that were like $18 to $25. You go down 3 booths and they have the same plushies, and then they're like $25 to $30. Obviously, the people that have the cheaper stuff is going to get bought from. So, yeah, I get competitiveness and supply and demand and all that stuff, but you gotta think. Do you want to inflate your prices and get labeled as a bootlegger for your inventory, or do you want to keep it at the same prices and stay competitive with your other vendors? It's a give and a take. Of course, I'm not really good at economics, so what do I know? And my neck's starting to hurt because I'm just sitting here talking to my computer and not working on anything. Of course, if I don't pay attention to my computer, the screen's going to go black. So, yeah, I feel like there should be more vendors. Like, I feel like they should be limited to how many tables they can rent. Probably 4 at the most. Because then they can make like a little U or something like that and just build up that way. And Artist Alley just felt repetitive because it felt like it was mainly all prints, stickers. There wasn't much jewelry, sadly. Like, and cons are getting more and more strict about how much fan art you can have. Like, it's a con. There's probably going to be fan art. I get copyright stuff, but at the same time, like, all names start somewhere with fandom-based items. And that's what Artist Alley is. They're just fans of a certain thing, and they can't really express their love of the fandom because they're limited on how much fan art they can bring. Because they can post a tutorial on YouTube on how to make something, and like that can be added to their portfolio. But cons are like, no, that's fan art. Like, you gotta have at least 70% of your own original art, and then 30% fan art. But fan art is what draws the people in to get the sales. Like this one girl, she had a lot of really cute jewelry that we were thinking, oh, it'll be good for this cosplay, it'll be that good for that cosplay, and we were excited. Like I actually got her business card because I have a nickel allergy, and she uses nickel free, which is really good. Of course, my friend the Black Bazaar, he also uses nickel free. Like he uses sterling silver, and I can't appreciate that quality of work for what he puts into it, because that just means that he cares about people with allergies, and he does a really great work. So Art Sally felt kind of repetitive because it was just print after print after print after print. Like there were no fleshy artists, there were a few sticker artists, but some stickers were um also fan arts, or like they had them available as prints. And it's kind of sad to see the lack of artwork there. And Friday rolls around, same old stuff in the morning, go feed the cat, come back to the hotel, get ready, go to the con. And by this day, my roommate's plantar fasciitis. It's an inflammation of the muscle in your foot that supports your arch. It was really, really flaring up, and we went to a couple panels, which we found very informative, especially the play and cosplay. And like we were was that, I don't remember if that was Friday or Saturday. Oh well. It was still a really good panel, and I really liked how it was executed. And we also attended the Cartoon Network versus Nickelodeon panel, which was really phenomenal. And I got a cute little Invader Zim hat. It was really nice. Um, we were sitting in line for that panel because that first panel was at 10 o'clock. It was the Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network. Saturday was also, it was Saturday because Saturday was the day of our panel. And I'll get to that in a minute as well. But we were just enjoying the line, and this girl, she was staying at Kalahari. And last night she forgot to charge her mobility scooter. And that's always the worst, when you forget to charge a piece of medical equipment that requires electricity. So she uses the last of its battery to get down to the con, because all the outlets were taken up by phone chargers, laptop chargers, tablet chargers, all that stuff. And she puts her mobility scooter in, and she's sitting on a couch. And she's on her phone, she's doing whatever, and a staff member is sitting outside the dealer's hall. And some girls were just sitting around talking, doing tarot card readings for people walking by. And like one said, when's the lineup's going to start for Vendors Hall? And they were talking about it, and this staff member said, well, there's no line starting yet. You guys aren't in line. And she goes up to the girl with the mobility scooter and says that she's not in line. And the girl with the mobility scooter said, I have this medical condition, and it's really flaring up because of the heat. And I need my scooter to charge because none of the chargers in my hotel room were available. And she goes, well, you're still not going to get in line for a dealer's hall. And the staff member was being a total meanie about it. And I don't even know their name, but we were just overhearing it. And I know that they are representing Colossalcon like that. It's pretty negatory. Like, it's not okay for you to assume that an attendee who has a medical condition is sitting outside a vendor's hall entrance, not even in line for it, to where you're like, oh, you're not in line because you forgot to charge your mobility scooter. Seriously, that's no. Okay, you put the convention in a really bad light for that. And I am going to say this. Our panel was a hit. I was a 90s kid, was beyond successful. We filled the room to capacity and then some. We actually had to have staff come in and ask us to ask people to step forward and sit down because we were breaking fire marshal regulations. So attendees who attend panels like that, if they say find somewhere to sit down, like work your way up front and sit down, please do that. That's all I ask. Because we don't want an emergency happening and we have to break down, and we don't want to trample anybody. Because that's not right. Sad thing is, we had to cut the panel 30 minutes early. That is because I was starting to get a very severe headache. I don't like being in panel room 7. Because I have very, very sensitive hearing and vision. And panel room 7 is next to the video game room. Not the arcade at Kalahari. The convention video game room with like DDR, that Japanese flip table game, and all that stuff. And hearing the bass of some of the video games was making my head severely hurt. So I really hope that next year we are in like panel room 4, 5, maybe 6. Like, I'm okay with that. Because it's on the other side of the convention and it's quiet. But thankfully, they were understanding. They're like, yeah, your health is more important. Go eat, go take some medicine, go to our lounge room, which we love, by the way, and just rest. So we did that. We loved the cosplay lounge a lot. It was quiet. It was relaxing. We were already brainstorming for next year. Like, the 90s panel went over so well. We know a 2000s panel is going to be even better, if not more. And hopefully we get a bigger room next year because beyond capacity, not safe. And finally we get to Sunday. We drive back Saturday night, check up on Little Miss, and we drop off most of our stuff, like the stuff that we're not wearing, like our cosplays. We drop off most of the food, we drop off the makeup, we drop off all that. And we drive back to the hotel. We get ready. And Sunday comes, and that's the day we go to McDonald's because we're like, screw the continental breakfast. We want McGriddles. We want hash browns. We want bad stuff that actually tastes good. And we don't really spoil ourselves when we're at con. Like, we try to eat as healthy as we can. Even though we survive on fruit, Lunchables, and yogurt. But hey, there are people that survive on ramen noodles at those cons. Sometimes just Pocky. I don't understand how people do that. I don't. You seriously need nutrition. That's why I'm like, let's bring fruit, let's bring some Lunchables, at least some Lunchables. Because you get your protein, you get some dairy, you get some grain. Like, seriously. And we get in line for the flea market. And here's another thing that really upset me. Some people in that flea market line were there at 6 a.m. when the line was supposed to start an hour before. Like, we got in, and the line was already around the corner from the thing. I'm like, this was at 8 a.m. The doors opened at 10. And they were getting longer and longer and longer still. Like, don't line up at 6 a.m. because you want to be the first at the door to try and make all this money. Because people are going to stay in the room a little bit, walk around, shop around, decide what they want, and then buy. You don't need to be the first in line. You really don't. It just means that you're just there to make a buck. I actually had intentions of selling some stuff that we didn't need, like my sewing machine. And that actually sold. And to the gentleman who bought that, thank you for giving Christine, the name of my sewing machine, a good home. I know she's going to do you well. But seriously, these early lineups were a problem this year for all the main events. It was a problem for the flea market. It was a problem for the craft fair. It was a problem for Artist Alley, Dealers Hall, the cosplay contest, even some of the autograph sessions, which they brought over from last year, the whole pick a time slot thing, which is pretty nifty to say the least, but it just feels like it's an inconvenience because then you gotta pick and choose. Do I want to go to this or do I want to go to that? Like, I remember 10 years ago at Colossalcon where you actually had to line up for autographs and they had it in a different location. I want them to go back to a way where autographs weren't blocking fire safety laws. Like, they had it blocked off to where you couldn't go through the hallway, which is a big safety hazard. Where when I went, they were right where the Artist Alley and video game room are now. And that was 10 years ago. And before that, they were behind these glass doors where the tabletop games are. But there are 4 rooms back there that are going unused. Which could either A, be potential panel rooms, B, one could be an autograph room, because one's for the cosplay judging. Like the craftsmanship. But it just seems a little bit too much knowing that you're blocking off an entire hallway, and if there's an emergency, no one can get through. Autographs need to be moved. Artist Alley, Vendors Hall, they need to have more variety. Tabletop gaming could be moved as well. And the same with the video game room. Like, if I was working for Colossalcon as a head honcho, and I feel like if I was to apply for something like that, I would make choices that seemed a little bit more upsetting to a guest, but more accommodating to everybody as well. That's just me looking from the outside into the window. But again, I really don't know what's going on. I know COVID put everything upside down, and I know that things aren't the way that they were 10 years ago. Like, if I could show you a map of Colossalcon and pick and choose where things go, it would probably make things a lot smoother for the convention. So, I give Colossalcon at least 3.5, maybe 4 stars out of 5. Because everything was going fine except for the long lines, that one staff member, and some of the things that I didn't feel safe. So, I know this was a long rant. It was 33.5 minutes long. But I appreciate everything that you've done. I also want different voice actors. Like, they only had, 4. And I feel like they should, if they want to bring money back to the con, because they have 4 cons that they have to break even for, bring in the bigger names. Bring in Jayong Bosch, Chris Sabat, people like that. Because I just feel like that's just going to make things seem a little smoother. And I feel like those guests should also be offered a pass to another Colossalcon of their choice. Because I know that Funimation, I think, is stationed in Texas, so I think a lot of big names are going to be at that one. Big names like Jayong Bosch again, Chris Sabat, Jeremy Lay, people like that. If you want Colossalcon to be even keep growing bigger and bigger with the 4 locations that we have, then just like attendees, see if the guests also want season passes to where they can attend all 4 Colossalcons. Because I think that'd be very interesting knowing that, oh, I'm going to Prime, and they have this actor, that actor, her, and him. And then they go to, North, Colossalcon North around Christmas, and those same actors are there, so if they didn't have time, or the money to get autographs or selfies or whatever, they'll have that opportunity at another con. So that is my Colossalcon review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please hit that sub button. It helps me out a lot. Comment, like, like I said, subscribe. I'm repeating myself. I'm hungry. I'm going to go make some mac and cheese. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Leaf Green once I get Pokemon trained up. Bye!